Okay, let's go. Hey, what's up? All right, so even if you're running late, you still have to do your makeup, so here we go. So we're gonna start with Bobbi Brown foundation. I'm mixing a couple of colors. I always love to mix different foundations to get the right shade, so I'm mixing 2 different colors here. I'm gonna take a big fluffy brush here. I'm gonna just start by putting a little bit of foundation all over the skin. We're hanging out with, one of my really good friends, and so this is a casual situation. We're not gonna be going for a full, really intense makeup moment. We're just trying to make sure the skin looks even. I'm excited to take you with me. So I live in Harlem. I've lived in Harlem for a while, and one of the coolest things about living here is that there's a lot of independently owned shops here. And so today we're gonna be experiencing one of them. This looks actually really good. So I'm gonna use Wander Beauty's Dualist concealer. This is closer to my skin tone, so I'll just use it in the areas that I need a little bit more coverage. This is rich. And then I'm gonna use, the lighter one is golden medium. So I'm gonna take this and just put it right underneath my eye. I'm gonna use a little bit of bronzer. This is by Charlotte Tilbury. It's her number 4. We're gonna take this at the top of my forehead so we can make my forehead look a little bit smaller. And a little on the cheek, down the sides of my nose. So I'm gonna take this eye color. This is by 241 Cosmetics. This is called Sunrise. And I'm just gonna take this with my finger and I'm gonna put this over the lid. Just gonna tap it. I like how that looks. I need a brown color, and I have in front of me this palette. This is by this company called Dios Cosmetics, and they've got these really cute browns in here. I'm gonna take this color right here, and I'm gonna use a fluffy brush, and we're just gonna take that and put it right into the crease of the eye, just back and forth. So we're gonna take Benefit's number 4 brow pencil, and I'm just gonna comb up my brow here. We're gonna fill it in. I'm gonna start here at the end of the brow, and I'm gonna make it a little bit thicker at the end. So I've been kind of avoiding doing like a point, but making it instead like a little bit thicker here. This is Maybelline Sky High. I'm gonna take this and just start at the bottom and then wiggle and pull through. Do I want eyeliner? Do we have time for eyeliner? Okay, so this is by Bobbi Brown as well. This is called Sepia. Do you say sepia or sepia? Sepia? Sometimes I find that if I don't have any eyeliner, it feels like the eye just doesn't have any definition. So I like to do something and do a little bit on the inner corner too. This is a really cool powder that I feel like a lot of people don't talk about because mostly makeup artists know about this. It's by this company called Kett Cosmetics. It's called Kett Set. The reason why I like this is because it really takes away all of the shine very, very quickly. I call like these kind of powders I call them like dry powders, which I know that doesn't really make any sense because every powder is dry, but there are some that leave more moisture in your skin. This one really takes that out, which is good, especially underneath the eye, like in the center of your forehead. All of that kind of shine goes away, which is really nice. This is by Dior. This is number 60. So you can put that in the center on top. Take a little bit of this Bobbi Brown. This is in the color Pretty Pink. My recent obsession with lip liner is actually this one. This is by Charlotte Tilbury. She has Pillow Talk in like a couple different colors, but this is number 3. And it's like this super beautiful brown color. This is by Bobbi Brown. This is Rich Cocoa. Let's use Mali's Kiss Me Tinted Lip Oil. I feel good. Do you feel good? I feel good. Okay, I think we should go now. Let's go. Hey! All right, let's go in. Okay. Hi, it's so nice to meet you. Delina, how are you? So nice to meet you officially.
Danielle. Hey, Danielle. I'm so glad you guys can make it. All right, take off your clothes and come on.
Okay, thank you. thank you so much for having us. Danielle, I know that this has been a place that you've spoken so highly of to me. You know what I mean? I'm excited to be here. The space is so beautiful. Thank you for having us.
Oh, I'm so glad you can make it. And thanks for spreading it. This is what I hope for when people come in. I'm like, you don't even have to buy anything. Just tell others to come.
Absolutely.
Because I feel like once you come in, it's really about like the experience. So the 5 senses. So as soon as you come in, it's like we get the candles going.
Definitely.
The music is a vibe. Folks know music is like everything. Exactly. You need a soundtrack. Exactly.
The thing about this space that I love and have loved for years is you guys inspire the buyer in a different way, right? So I'll come in here for one thing. I come in and buy as many candles as I can, for back stock. A girl can't be without her candles, especially during the pandemic when you're trying to create a vibe at home. But I always leave with something else. There's always this sort of inspirational piece. And to your point, experiencing this store encourages you to grab a piece for yourself and to share it with others. And then to come and tell the story to your good girlfriend. So tell me a little bit about how you all cultivate this kind of vibe. How do you create a space like this? And just a bit about your entrepreneurial journey here in Harlem.
Oh, it's been a long journey. We actually started our first business in Harlem in 2000. It was a floral shop called Katrina Parris Flowers. We had that for 15 years. We sold that, and then 2015, NiLu was born, which came from the names of my 2 boys, Nigel and Luke. It's funny because when we opened up NiLu, when we first told them, we were going to do it, they were like, what, huh? Their thing, they've gotten so good with the entrepreneur. They're like, well, how much of the business is ours then? I was just like, by name only. Right. You'll have to buy me out. We'll talk about it. So at NiLu, I wanted to offer something that went beyond the flowers. I knew, the neighborhood. We live here. It's us. We're vested. So I knew what was lacking and what was missing. Over time, I started to notice that there were more makers in the neighborhood, but there wasn't necessarily platforms in which these makers to sell their wares. Pop-ups had just started to really kind of happen, and everyone.
This is which year?
This was 2015.
Okay, yeah.
So pop-ups had, Brooklyn had been doing it, but there really wasn't too much of it by way of Harlem, for sure. Upper West Side had them, their annual, bazaars and things like that. So one of the things I thought was that, it would be great to, to extend community and offer a platform for makers. So that's, where it started from. So started to look out for makers in the community by going to one of the few pop-ups that were happening. And then just, online, Instagram had just started. So, kind of feeding that and word of mouth. And then eventually, so I filled up the store with a couple of makers that, that we'll talk about later. But,
for sure.
But I'd like to introduce you to. But from that, once we got a couple of those makers in the store, people started coming in. The makers found us, really,
I love that.
So they were coming, like, heard about you, And I was just like,
how do we get in the store?
Right. That was like something I had not anticipated. And then, of course, I go to the industry shows. But within the industry shows, what I really scrub is the made in America, the handmade products, and the global products. Because NiLu is not only, compiled of makers from Harlem, but at this point we've gone beyond Harlem and we've gone global. And so with our global products, they're always fair trade, and they're always geared towards supporting women artisans. So for us, community is not just Harlem, but it's the community at large. It's community of color, because that's one of the criteria as well that we look for. And also in the gift giving, the particular items that we choose, Danielle, everything is very intentional, with a nod or a gesture to Black Americana, to the things that we know exist by people that we know who are out there, but you never see. So the coffee table books, we're going to talk about Black art. We're going to talk about iconic Black jazz. We're going to talk about, the things that our culture are about, the best of who we are. When you go to the greeting card section, you're going to see cards that look like us, that have brown faces. But at the same token, this doesn't mean that NiLu is just for people of color, and our client base has proved that. People walk in and don't feel like, they don't belong. I want, people to feel this is an education, for everybody. So that's what, NiLu wants to preserve, continue, tell the stories, the narrative of what's happened, and be part of the narration that's going forward, especially with, our makers, but our Black artists too.
One thing that you all do that I find incredible is, of course, you've curated this beautiful selection indoors, but you always have these additional artisans outside.
Yeah.
And I've come down here after brunch and met people selling Palo Santo and teas, and have been able to build relationships beyond the store to where we hit it off and the energy's right, and I'm able to meet them for coffee some other time. So you guys are really cultivating a space of gathering, and then we get to take a piece back. So that's why I've been singing your praises to everybody that I know, and that's why I always pop in here, because you know, it feels like home, but the way that we know it to look, which I think is beautiful.
Right. Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Was this a hard decision to move from flowers into this space, because it's such a different business?
Doing this flower business, you know, which every day was like, so it was a constant stress. Flower business is like a restaurant. It's a perishable. It's a luxury item. People don't need it. People equate quantity with quality. I mean, so it's a constant education. I mean, I'm surprised really that we had it for as long as we had, because I feel like in the 15 years that we had it, it probably robbed 7 years of my life expectancy. My children have taken 5, and this flower shop took 7 years of my life.
Have you always known that you wanted to be an entrepreneur?
No, but you know what's funny? So I'm the youngest of 9 children, and growing up, I used to have this phrase, "I'm the boss of me." But I think I've always had this creativeness and this kind of like off the beaten path type of approach to things. I've never been one who's, you know, been like, you know, oh, because everybody else is doing it. And I think that's from coming from a large family. I've always felt like, no, I don't want to do it that way. I'm going to do it my way. And I think that's, you know, so far served me well. Yeah. But let me back up, because actually in 2005, I had a greeting card business. It's called Real Life Cards. And I couldn't draw, but I loved words. And I always felt like people used words out of context. I'm like, you don't really mean it like that. What you probably meant was
like editing conversations mid-conversation.
Exactly. I'm like, well, the thesaurus chosen that word. So, but I started, it was called Real Life Cards. That paralleled or partnered with, you know, my mother dying, but my mother and I, we weren't very close. So every Mother's Day, I'd always be like, you know, the Mother's Day card, and I'd always be like, oh, you meant so much. I'm like, that's not our relationship. So I started making cards, and so it's like, Mom, no matter how you spell it, it's always Mom. You know, it's like,
I love that, and I identify with that so much. I've had similar situations where the cards, they just not hitting.
Like 20 minutes trying to find a card.
That's not it.
Right.
Yes, exactly.
I just mean happy birthday.
Yeah.
Exactly. Hence, Real Life Cards.
Okay.
So that's when I started. So I was hand making them and everything, and I sold them at a couple of stores in the city. You know what really prompted the flower shop? Is the death of my mother. My mother died. She had a heart attack in her sleep at 66. So, you know, and it really kind of jolted me in a way that I was 30 at the time, and I was not happy. I was in human resources, which I did for a long stint. And I was just like, you know what? I need to like get off of this merry-go-round. I'm not happy. And, you know, her death jolted that for me. And it was like, so, you know, for so long you think about, you know what you don't want to do. But when people say, well, what do you want to do? You're like, oh, shit, I don't know.
That's the tough part.
You know, you go back to what you don't want to do. I was in Harlem. I've always been in Harlem. And I noticed that there weren't a lot of flower shops. There was a lot of kind of old school, antiquated flower shops. And I noticed that every time I went to go buy them, I'd have to go outside of the neighborhood to do so. And so I thought, you know, started taking classes at Brooklyn Botanical, at Parsons School of Design, and I was just like, I kind of like this, you know. And then very organically it grew where I put some flowers in a bakery that had just opened up in our neighborhood with a business card, and you know, people started calling, and like kind of one thing led to another, and you know, Katrina Parris Flowers was bloomed. My husband, who wasn't my husband at the time, well, actually we had just gotten married in 2000. We were business partners together. Mark has a technology business, you know, background, so he was like, you know, we're definitely right brain, left brain, and he was like, oh, all that's nice, but what it cost you? How much? And I'm like, huh? What?
Systems.
What? Yeah, systems, right, process and all that. He's like, I think you need a business plan for it. I was like, okay.
You're like, I have these flowers. I took them to the bakery.
Yeah, people like them. I'm getting calls. Sounds like a business to me. So, But so very organic. So we've been business partners for as long as we've been married, which is over 20-something years.
Everything
so.
is around gifting. Like you
Yeah.
want to provide something.
I
for
guess
people.
so. There's a thing.
What'd you say?
I was like, is that your love language?
I guess.
Do you enjoy getting them, or do you just enjoy giving them?
Well, you know what's funny? I think I'm probably a very difficult person to buy a gift for.
Okay.
You know? And you know, it's funny. People would still, when I had the flower shop, people would still like bring flowers. I'm like, you're kidding me, right?
Like, first of all, no thank
Like,
you.
yeah, like, really? You're really giving me these flowers,
Because there was no NiLu, right? Like, they didn't have options. You get flowers and cards.
Clearly. But yeah, I do like receiving good gifts.
Yeah, I love it. Good gifts. Let the record show.
Yeah.
So I know that NiLu is named after your sons, and I really want to get an idea of like how everybody's involved. I know you work with your husband. Like, what's the family dynamic here?
Well, first of all, the boys are now at the age where they're expected to come and do their time, as they say, right? And they're like, we're getting paid, right? At least minimum wage, right? I'm like, so you want taxes taken out then?
Yes.
They were like, well, hold on. Nigel, who's the older one, he had his first summer job in Martha's Vineyard at a store. He's at that age where he's just starting to come into his own. But he's very good behind the counter. He's always just like, I got this, okay? You know, and I was like, well, greet people when they come in. He's like, I know, I said hello, stop, you know? His little brother, Luke, on the other hand, he has no interest in wanting to man the point of service or anything. He just wants to go to the register and see how much money there is in the register. I'm like,
Just
dude, what? Right, exactly. That's exactly. Just check him out. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna just check after you too, okay? And make sure that the check was good. And Mark is a little bit of everything, you know. He likes to chat it up behind the POS, but he's actually, in terms of the functionality of NiLu, the marketing, and you know, a lot of the ideas and the business part of it, and the marketing, the creative, and he always likes to say he has a creativeness that you know he brings to it as well. We all work effectively together, I think.
I love it. A family show.
Yeah, family show for sure, for sure.
I know you've pivoted to also adding online to part of your business, so I'm very interested in finding out more about, can you purchase everything in the store online, or is it select items? How did you make that decision?
So it is shopnilu.com, 24 hours. So yeah, one of the biggest pivots we had was when COVID hit, we kind of took 2 steps backwards to really kind of look at what we wanted the website to be, the experience. It is curated a little differently. Not everything that you see in the store is available online. There's another section that we're building up that's going to be called kind of like one-offs, because when I travel, I love to go to estate sales or secondhand things. And it's like always kind of those just little, you know, neat things. So I'm really excited to like take some things that I think we living in the city take for granted, but somebody living in a place where there's no black bookstore, there's no representation other than online, you know, and we're hoping that we get just as much support as we have from the community.
I'm excited to meet some of the makers that you have in the shop.
Okay, as you should be.
I'm so excited, right? Exactly. Okay, so we've chosen a few of them to highlight.
So I'm going to start off with, so candles are a really big seller at NiLu, and one of our more recent additions is the Hummingbird Candle Company, which I love because she's a maker of color. She's a black woman. She's got a couple of different lines, and I love her numbered line. It's what I would call a ritualistic candle, and that they're more earthy scent, and they're more ones where people, when you meditate. This one is called Clarity. There's one that's mindfulness. So in that same vein. But what please. Okay. So a little trick. So when you go into stores and they have the cloche, you smell inside the cloche. Okay. And
wow.
Resistance, right? But the best part is that Hummingbird and NiLu has partnered, and they produce our candle line. So we just launched our own candle line, our Travel Tin, and I love that Tiana and her team, we paired with them. So I actually went to North Carolina, to Asheville, and we created, you know, as a result of the collaboration, our candle. So I'm over the moon because I really wanted to partner with a maker of color, and the fact that she's a black woman and she's doing the damn thing. She's getting ready to open up her 3rd location in North Carolina. So geeked about, because that's what we, you know, it's more of speaking to what NiLu is about and what we want to, you know, go forward. But wait, there's more. Okay,
let's see what's next.
Go to the other part of the store and check it out.
Okay.
So our next stop is So what I love is Soul Cacao are 3 Trinidadian brothers who live in Harlem, and they are chocolatiers. And it's a great chocolate. It's a bean to bar, so it's just cocoa bean and sugar cane. What I love is that they commission artwork for each one. So Peru, Ecuador, and Colombia, all of the cocoa beans are sourced from those different regions. And people ask, well, what's the difference? I guess, you know, like anything, the soil absorbs, and so there's a taste to everything. I love that they have expanded. They are in Whole Foods, and they're getting ready to launch their hot chocolate. But wait, there's more.
All right, let's go. I'm excited.
So quickly, this is part of the global, the products that we do globally.
Yeah.
This we commissioned along with some teddy bears for a women artisan group in West Africa.
Okay.
The pouches and the teddy bears that they
It's
made.
beautiful. Look at this.
Yeah.
It's lined and everything.
And one other collaboration that we're super excited about, I told you that not only makers are a big part of NiLu, but artists as well. So we have partnered with the Ramir Bearden Foundation, and I've launched some home good items. So
Awesome.
I'd like to check those out with you. So I'm looking forward to so many different things for 2022. Lamar Farms actually is a family that used to live in Harlem. They moved upstate. So they moved to Palisades. What was cool is that they bought a farm and they started off with honeys, with bees. We started off with them buying their honey, and we have that, and then they have a candle. But then they're branched out into health, personal care, and so they have their soaps, the honey shea, oatmeal, and the blood orange. We can't keep them in the store. They're all natural, they're organic. They smell amazing.
Yeah.
But I love they too. Lamar is named after their 2 young ladies. Actually, they're getting ready to launch a food line. Brett, who is the one of the co-founders, is a big cook and chef, and so he's getting ready to do his spices and stuff like that. So we'll have those in NiLu soon too. So
Amazing.
I love that it grows. Like, you know, I mean, everybody's growing and kind of, you know, just, you know, you start in one place and you're morphing into other things. You know, just seeing where they, you know, over time, how they're all kind of growing.
Growing with them. Yeah, everybody's growing.
I'm so glad you guys could come.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having us.
You know, I want to say, you know, there's more, but go explore.
Yeah.
And find on your own.
Yeah.
To get you all the treats. But yeah, there's so much more to discover.
Oh, this one smells good too.
That one's more subtle.
Yeah. This is like more like a oatmeal kind of
strawberry.
drink. Oh, it is oatmeal.
Look at you. You know it.
I love oat
Honey
milk,
shake.
and I love oatmeal.
Now, bonus round. Where's my ice?
This is good. It is. It's very, Oh yeah, this is good
soft,
too. Yeah.
I feel like I won't be ashy after I use this.
Definitely not.
It's the oatmeal.
It's the oatmeal and the shea and the honey. So good. I'm excited. I definitely need to come back and like properly explore. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We had so much fun at NiLu. We picked up a couple things.
I got my very favorite candle, not because I needed it, but because it was here and so was I. So,
and I picked up the oatmeal soaps. So make sure you come through because it's really, really fun. There's a lot to get into. I actually need to come back and experience.
Yes.
And
if you are not in New York, but you want to shop NiLu, you can do so on shopnilu.com 24 hours a day.
That's right. See you guys soon. Bye.